What's going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now in this video, I'm going to continue to do my new series of giving you guys Google Map tours of different cities and neighborhoods around Boston, right? The reason I thought I would do that is because I remember when I was buying my first home, it was just very hard for me to kind of picture on a map where everything was, right? Especially if you're looking at those online websites like Zillow and Realtor, right? And you can kind of see different listings and different locations in the cities you're looking at. It could be a little confusing to know, like, oh, I want to be in this pocket or I want to be in that pocket, right? It's just, there's a lot to digest there. So what I thought I would do is literally give you guys a tour on Google Maps, and that way you can really learn the neighborhoods in and out. And in this video, we're gonna focus on Dorchester and specifically all the pockets of Dorchester right on the red line. I've had a lot of you guys be very interested in buy units in that area. So I thought I'd highlight the different pockets by dot on the T. So we're gonna get after it right now. What's going on, guys? My name's Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now, before we jump into this Google Map tour, two super quick things for you guys. Number one, if this is your first time on my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. I put out tons of new videos every single week talking about different neighborhoods in Boston, what it's like to live here, and of course, buying and selling homes. So if that's the kind of content you're looking for, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And number two, guys, if you're thinking about doing anything with real estate around the Boston area, whether it's buying, selling, investing, whatever it may be, I still get so many calls from you guys watching my videos, and I absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about making any sort of move, hit me up and my team will definitely help you out. So with that, we're gonna jump into this next Google tour. And as I said, for this video, we're gonna highlight on Dorchester with all the neighborhoods right by the T. I know a lot of you guys have really been looking at those areas because they're fantastic areas, super convenient. You can hop on the red line and get into the city. So as I said, we're gonna hop onto my Google Map tour, and then you can use this video along with my videos where I actually went on the ground and kind of really start to build up both a on the ground feel and a map feel of what these neighborhoods are like and how they are spread out. So let's jump onto my computer screen and get going with that.
All right, so welcome to my computer screen. As you can see, we are on my Google Maps and I've got Dorchester highlighted here. So just quickly in terms of positioning, here's downtown Boston, right? Back Bay, the South End. You got Seaport and South Boston, and here's the entire neighborhood of Dorchester, one of the biggest in all of Boston. So as I said, in this video, we're gonna focus more on the part of Dorchester that's on the red line, which runs right through basically where you see Dorchester Abbas. That's kind of where it runs. Here's one of the T-stops, Ashmont, and it kind of keeps going all the way through here north towards Boston. So I thought I'd focus on three key neighborhoods kind of right on that T line that I think you guys are probably most interested in. And we're going to start first with Lower Mills in Dorchester. We're going to start south and work our way up north. And Lower Mills is basically this whole area right here. It's the southernmost tip of Dorchester, right before you hop over this little body of water and you get to Milton, which is a different city, which is not even Boston anymore. So literally one of the most southern tips of Boston, Lower Mills. And I got my nose right here too. And Lower Mills is really cool, right? Because it's actually let's see, what is it called? The National Register of Historic Places. Try saying that 3 times fast. But it's home to basically, it's basically home to a large industrial factory complex that used to be, let's see what it was. It used to be the Walter Baker and Company, which was a producer of chocolates, and today is home to basically lofts and condos, so which is pretty cool. So Lower Mills is kind of, if you drive through Lower Mills, you'll see these like large, big brick industrial complexes. That's that. That always kind of stands out to me when I drive through Lower Mills. Now, again, we're kind of talking about this area here. What's really cool about Lower Mills is first of all, it's got a fantastic restaurant scene. So, I'm going to type in a couple of spots I'm going to highlight for you guys. There's Steel and Rye. So let's see. I'm going to put in right here, Steel and Rye. Oh, boom. It already knows it. Steel and Rye in Dorchester. So you can see right in the southern tip of the city. There's Lower Mills Tavern, which is a great little kind of like gastro pub, as it's labeled right there. There's Yellow Door Taqueria, which is actually has another branch in the South End. right next to South Boston where I live, and I get tacos from there literally maybe once or twice a week. One of my favorite taco spots in all of Boston. So it's got Yellow Door Taqueria. It's got Bread Gourmet on Dot Ave. We got Sweet Life, which is kind of like a contemporary coffee house. So right here, this little central district right here, you'll see a couple of commercial spots right here. Bowery Bar. So this is kind of where I would say you do have a fair amount of restaurants and bars, which is really cool. Now, in terms of other convenience, before we hop into convenience, one other cool thing too I'll point out is what you'll notice is there's a lot of green space in this Lower Mills section too, right? So you have Dorchester Park, which is right here. Nice, large, big park. You actually have the Walsh Playground, which is, just on the other side, which is really nice. You can see it's got a nice little playground. And of course, you have this entire Neponset River Reservation right here. So you do have a fair amount of like green space, and you can kind of walk around here along the Neponset River and everything. So it is really nice, right? Like, when I drive there, especially when it's warm weather, you'll see a lot of people walking around, which does make it really, really cool. Now, in terms of other convenience factors in this little neighborhood, which I'll point out, you see right here, there's a Star Market. If you're not from Boston, then actually, I don't even know if Star Market's a national chain or not, but Star Market's one of the bigger grocery chains around here, a great one. So you have very convenient shopping right here for groceries. Another thing you'll notice is the tea stop. So you've got the Butler Tea Stop right here. Now, this is actually technically part of the Mattapan Trolley, as is labeled right here. So it basically is like a small little quote-unquote offline, right, that feeds into the main red line of Dorchester. So this little stop here, Butler, there's a couple of other ones that cross to Milton. It's like a small little trolley that will take you right into Ashmont, which is right here, right, which is one of the bigger, which is like the actual red line MBTA stop. And we'll talk about the Ashmont neighborhood next. So this little Butler Tea Stop will take you right into there, which makes for nice, convenient access for the rest of Dorchester. And obviously, if you're going into the South Boston or into the city, makes it super, super easy. So that's obviously a key component, for convenience within that neighborhood. Now, in terms of living, so as I mentioned, there's that big, old industrial complex that used to be that chocolate factory. Today, you'll basically find the Baker Lofts as well as the Baker Square condos there. The condos are, if you look, you can look them up. They're really, really cool condos. Some of the amenities I put them down here, like they're obviously loft style, so they have high ceilings, exposed brick. Condo amenities include indoor pool, fitness center, sauna, club room, a dog park. So it got a fair amount of amenities. They're really, really cool units. Definitely, if you're into kind of like loft style, exposed brick, that's definitely the spot for you. It's a really, really cool complex. And of course, besides that, you have regular housing stock here as well. Plenty of other regular condos and 2 or 3 families or townhomes. And you'll see some of the larger, newer developments there. That for townhouses can sell. It can get pricey there, right? I mean, the prices can push mid 700,000s and even mid 800,000s for larger units. So this is definitely a very desirable area. It's really, really nice. It doesn't feel like the city at all. And hence the pricing certainly reflects that there. All right, so next let's talk about 2 neighborhoods that kind of mush together a little bit. And that's going to be Adams Village, which is labeled right over here, and basically Neponset, right, which is basically this whole little area around here, that's like right on the coast. So, these are just north of Lower Mills, where we talked about. You can see Ashmont, the T stop is right here. So this is kind of more of the Ashmont neighborhood. So they're all right next to each other, right? It's like Ashmont, Adams Village, and then Neponset. And so in terms of a little history, really quick about Neponset, so it is a historic fishing port, which I think is always kind of cool to talk about. Honestly, Adams Village is kind of one of those little secret neighborhoods that not a lot of people know about. Super, super cute, right? Especially if you go on Adams Street and you go into this little commercial center here. You can see they got a couple of spots right here. Actually, Molinari's quite famous. So they got a couple really good spots. Lucy's American Tavern. Let's see, Green Hills Bakery, the Industry Bar and Grill. You have Landmark Public House as well. So you got a couple of spots. Here's the Industry Bar and Grill. So you have a number of like restaurants and bars in here, which is super, super cute. I mean, it's a really nice place to go out for. Again, kind of feels very quiet. Does not really feel like, the hustle and bustle of the city necessarily. I just think it's a really, really cute area, and the homes around it are all really, really nice as well. Neponset, you certainly have a good amount of things going on as well. In terms of things to do. I mean, Neponset, you can see you got a winery here. Actually, Boston Winery is right over here. You've got restaurants like Dorchester Hall. I've done some events there actually. What else? We got Lambert's Market somewhere here. I forget exactly where it is. But it's like a market and it's like a cool little sub shop. You've got there's an Italian restaurant right here. We're also right on the water. I had a holiday party here once. You've got amazing views of the water. So you do have a couple of restaurants scattered throughout here as well in this Neponset area. So whether you're choosing Neponset or Adams Village, I think these are both phenomenal areas. Super cute, a little, kind of quiet. I really, really like it there. Now, in terms of other things to do, you do have a couple of parks, that I will mention. You've got a couple of playgrounds right here, Hemingway Playground. You do have Finnegan Park right here, which is right on the river, which is really, really neat. What else am I missing? You have, the President's Golf Course. You also, of course, are still pretty close to that Neponset River Reservation here. If you live in Neponset, you might just go to this park right here. Again, kind of just like nice green space, great for like a run or a walk or something like that. So you do have a fair amount of outdoor options if you're going to live in this area as well, which is very nice, right? Obviously, you can get water views and, especially when it's warm out, see a lot of people taking walks, etc. Now, in terms of other convenience factors, as I said, right, Adams Village is right next to Ashmont. So you can see they're super close to each other. If you're going to live in Neponset, which is over here, you're going to be a little further away from Ashmont. I mean, most people that, I think a lot of people that live in Neponset aren't necessarily as tied to the T. Whereas if I was commuting a lot, I would probably want to live a little closer towards Adams Village. But again, I mean, you still have fair access to Ashmont T stop right over here, which of course is very convenient. Through Neponset and Adams Village, you also have very easy access to 93, which is the highway right here. So you can see this little big intersection. You can kind of get in and on the highway, which can take you south, can take you north, right into the city, depending on where you need to go. So, in terms of transportation and kind of getting in and out, I think it's a really, really convenient area. Shopping wise, of course, you're still close to Star Market in Lower Mills. You're not too far away from there. You might have noticed there's also a Stop and Shop right over here as well. So you have a fair amount of different options, for your grocery shoppings. Lambert's Market, I mentioned earlier, is another great little spot if you're going to do some grocery shopping. And then finally, in terms of housing, again, you could kind of tell these are really nice areas, kind of by the water, close to the T. So you can expect pricing to certainly be, definitely more expensive than other parts of Dorchester, and it certainly is. Average condo here will probably go around mid 500s to, maybe $600 per square foot. So, your typical 1,000 square foot condo, you're probably pushing around $600,000, maybe low 600s. And then if you're looking at larger units, say around 1,500 square feet, those can maybe go around 700, mid 700, stuff like that. So, you're certainly pushing price as compared to the rest of Dorchester here. But again, the area is really amazing. I mean, like I said, you have a lot of access to restaurants and bars. You have parks. It's very convenient for the T, for the highway. So this is another phenomenal neighborhood, that I would certainly look at. And, I'm not gonna do an own breakdown on Ashmont, but Ashmont is also right next to Adams Village. So it's literally the next little area right over. And again, kind of similar, right? You're dealing with, convenience to Ashmont, the T stop. You're a little further away from the coast here. You have a fair amount of restaurants and stuff going on right on Dorchester Avenue, which is the big, which is kind of one of the main roads that goes through all of Dorchester. So this whole area, I think you really can't go wrong. They're all, I think this whole area is really, really great. If you're kind of looking for a little maybe quieter suburban but still city life, I would certainly look in Ashmont, Adams Village, and Neponset. So now we're gonna go way up north. So we're gonna kind of skip through this a little bit here and go up to right here, which is Savin Hill, and then you're kind of getting into the JFK Umass area right before you get into South Boston, right? So you can see here's that Dorchester Avenue still going strong all the way up north. So we're going to kind of focus on this, sorry about that, guys. We're going to focus on this kind of northern area of Dorchester right here. Some people call it North Dorchester. I've heard it being called like that, as kind of the last area I want to talk about for this video. And, this is, I will say this, Savin Hill, JFK are extremely desirable areas, right? The big advantage here, of course, is that you're much closer to the city, right? Again, you're literally the next neighborhood over from South Boston. You can very easily get into downtown and the rest of Boston from here. So this is a super desirable area. Now, it does feel, I think, a little different than the southern areas we talked about, like Neponset, Adams Village. I think here, when you start walking the streets, you'll see a lot more triple deckers. Which is basically like three families, the classic three families in Boston that are like 3 stories tall. Very common type of housing stock here. You'll have some 2 families and some single families here and there, of course, but you will see a ton of triple deckers here. And I think it does feel a little bit more city-esque, I would say, right? Because I think you start kind of feeling it's a little bit tighter on the streets here. So, as you go through that. So, something to keep in mind. It certainly feels a little bit more, even I would say, like South Boston, where it, as opposed to the southern Dorchester, where it kind of has a little bit more of a suburban feel there. Now, a few other things I'll mention too. Obviously, if you're going to go super close to UMass, which is all over here, right? You can certainly expect to see some student rentals here as well. A lot of students certainly live, there's the Harbor Point apartments here. So they certainly live here, but, you'll definitely get quite a bit of students renting out, apartments over here. But that being said, there's still beautiful condo developments throughout this whole neighborhood, and they certainly go for really good money. In terms of other amenities and lifestyle amenities and all that, you are getting right to the southern part of Moakley Park, which is a park in South Boston. You can see it's like right over here. You do have a couple of other parks I'll point. You have Savin Hill Park right over here. You do have a Malibu Beach right here, which don't think is super popular. I've never been there, to be honest with you. Most people that I know will just go to Carson Beach, which is in South Boston. You do have the Harbor Walk Park right here, which I have taken walks, and it is really nice. And you can kind of walk around, along the coast here, which is, of course, very, very nice. And you have a couple of other waterfront walkways. So this like little green area right here, that used to be one of my alternative running routes. It's actually really nice. You can run right around here. You're literally running right on the water. It's actually really, really nice. I got to be honest with you guys. That's one of my favorite running routes. So that's kind of one of the advantages of being here, right? You kind of get a lot of like coastal frontage as well, along with some beaches here. So, in terms of outdoor things to do, I do think you have a fair amount of access around these neighborhoods here as well. Now, in terms of restaurants, cafes, stuff like that, again, I'd probably look at Dorchester Avenue for most of your stuff. You could see there's bars popping up. Harp and Bard, I've been there quite a bit. McKenna's is quite famous in Savin Hill. You have actually Ghost Pepper Taco and Tequila Bar. You do have the Banshee, which is right over here. Another solid spot, kind of like a bar and grill. You do have a fair amount of Polish influence around Savin Hill as well. So there are a couple of like Polish shops. There was actually one of my places that I really liked, that did pierogies. I believe they closed down a couple of years ago, but you'll still find some Polish influence. Now, not directly in Savin Hill or JFK. You are still pretty close, though, to South Bay, which gives you access to something like Dorchester Brewing Company, which is a cool brewery. So, between the restaurants on Dorchester Ave, and being close to South Bay, you're obviously super close to South Boston here. You do have a fair amount of restaurants, bars that you can choose from if you're going to live in this area. Now, in terms of the biggest attractions from like a transportation convenience perspective, of course, it's going to be the Red Line. So again, your Red Line stops right here at Savin Hill. Then you have JFK. And if you're going to hop on the T and get on JFK and you're going up, you're going to shoot right into Andrew Square, which is right in, basically, that takes you right into South Boston. So you can see you're literally right on the South Boston line. So that's what makes this area incredibly desirable, right? You're literally like a stop or two away from South Boston. So, you're right on the most northern part of Dorchester. Again, you also have very good access to 93. So if you ever need to go to 93 to get to the North Shore, for example, go into downtown further, you certainly have that access right here. The highway runs right through it. So that's also really, really nice. In terms of other things to point out, from a grocery perspective, you have a Star Market right here. I actually come down from South Boston to do my shopping and spend this Star Market quite a bit. It's actually the closest Star Market to me in South Boston. So, it's a great Star Market, has all my groceries and everything I need, which is fantastic. If you did, for some reason, want to go to other places, right? Like if you wanted to go to a Stop and Shop, there is a Stop and Shop in South Boston, which would be like, maybe 5-minute drive away. So, I think Star Market should take care of that. But if you wanted other alternatives, you certainly do have that here as well. And finally, in terms of pricing, again, this is also like I said, is a very desirable area because you're right next to the city and you have the MBTA stops. So it certainly can get pretty expensive here. Condos are probably, again, going mid $600 per square foot. So, your average, so like a nice, renovated 1,000 square foot unit, probably going to be around 600 to mid 600s or so. Possible to get it for a little lower if it's maybe in worse condition. You certainly have bigger units that can, that can sell for much higher. I mean, I've seen units that are bigger, 1,500 square feet to 2,000 square feet, that can sell for, anywhere from 900,000 and up to $1 million. So that sort of pricing certainly can happen here because, again, it's a very desirable area. And what I thought I would do real quick, just to kind of contextualize this a little bit, because I know I'm obviously throwing out a lot of numbers for you guys, is I'll show you a listing. So this is Sudan Street, which is right in Savin Hill, just to make it kind of drive the point home, right? So when I say mid $600 per square foot, you can see this is a 1,000 square foot unit being marketed for $649,000, which comes out to about $635 a foot. This is a new renovation, so you can see really this is kind of your pretty nice average, not average, but kind of bread and butter, I would call renovated condo, right? 3-bed, 2-bath with a master, very high-end finishes, nice tile, obviously laundry inside. So this is kind of what you will see a lot around here. And you can see this is the triple decker, right? The 3 stories. So if you're going to look in this area, that's probably going to be the type of inventory you're going to see. So in that kind of price range, right? Again, that mid $600 per square foot for renovated stuff. And obviously for non-renovated stuff, it'll be a little cheaper. So hopefully that gave you guys a pretty good idea or overview of the different neighborhoods on the T around Dorchester. Again, this is probably one of the more popular neighborhoods I've seen become for, especially for first-time condo buyers, or people that want a little bit more square footage for their dollar. Maybe you don't want to go to South Boston where you kind of get a little bit less for your dollar. So you might explore the next neighborhood south, right, which would be North Dorchester. Or if you're fine going further south and further away from the city to Neponset, Adams Village, or Lower Mills, you can even get a little bit more for bang for your buck. So hopefully that gave you guys a solid overview of, the different options you have. Of course, like I said, there's a lot of information. So if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments below or reach out to us, and we will definitely help you out.